Should be live here. There you go. Should be live here. Um, Down in your comments. Wait, I'm curious. Comments will be here.
Okay.
So that's it. We're set up.
All right. Thank you very much.
To go check that everything's working.
Okay. Are you going to jump in and do comments too?
Uh, I might put some in there. Yes.
Okay. That's what we'll do. Oh, you know what? I saw.
You are live.
Oh, I'm live right now.
You are currently.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you told me that. All right. So I won't ask you any personal questions. All right. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Okay. All right. Hey, we're going to be going through some really important information here this afternoon. We're going to show you how to stop renting, buy houses. You don't need great credit. You're not going to need a large down payment, and you're not going to need to qualify for a large mortgage because there is a way, and I'm going to show it to you this afternoon, a way that you can identify properties that are for sale and you can simply buy them by taking over the existing mortgage payment. Now, what I'm going to do before I get into that, I want to get some more people involved here. We want to have some more people that are joining us. So we'll give it a few minutes here so we get some folks joining us here on the YouTube live stream here. Always happy to share it. And yeah, we're looking forward to a good time here this afternoon. What I'm doing here as I'm talking with you, you know what? I can do it over here. What I like to do is kind of keep track of the folks I'm talking to. So those of you that are on here already, go ahead and drop your city in the chat. Let me know what your city is. So I like to know where people are coming from, who I'm talking to, what direction they're coming from. We all come from different directions. Sometimes it gets out of sync, but if we can go forward in the same direction for just a little bit of time, we can accomplish something really good together. So that's what we got lined up here. Um, hmm, that looks good. That looks good. All right. All right. So, I'm going to keeping track of how many folks I got here with me. Would like to have a good amount of folks here. We like to get to double digits because obviously the message itself is very helpful. So we want to be able to at least have about a dozen people here on board that we can share it with. And because as I go through the process, which I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be showing a 5-step process that you can do to identify homes that you can buy simply by taking over the existing mortgage payment. I know some of you, excuse me, might not think that's possible. It is. I need to show you how to put it together. Just got to show you how to put it together. All right. Can you see? Yes, I am seeing the comments. Thank you, Afro Bro. I see the comments. Thank you. And this way, when other folks are making comments about my shirt or whatever else, I will be able to see it. So I like to start off here by kind of just getting folks warmed up here. We do have some great info I'm going to get into, and one couple things here that I want to say straight up, quick heads up. This live it contains information about a paid community that I run called the Real Money Club. I want to be upfront about that. Everything I'm sharing is real and educational. I'll tell you more about it at the end if you're interested. That is something I just wanted to share at the beginning. That's what we're doing here because even though this information is helpful and can get people going in the right direction, it's educational. I'm sharing my personal experience. I'm not an attorney. I am not an accountant. I'm just a guy that has used the information I'm going to share with you with some success through the years by buying properties with little or no money down. And that's what I'm going to share with you. So, um, all right. Well, we're getting some folks here in play here, which is good. Now, what cities is everybody from? Hey there, Andy. Andy, thanks for reaching out. Andy, what city are you coming from this afternoon? Where are you watching this live stream? Are you in the United States or overseas right now? Let's go ahead and drop that in the chat. Because I get people that come in from all over. We have some members that tune in regularly that they are from Belgium, Vietnam, India. So the internet reaches the worldwide. But I've been getting a lot of folks that are here in Florida. I just recently became a member. Hey, Andy, congratulations. Huh. Deep East Texas. All right, Deep East Texas. So you're over Houston, Galveston's on the east side, right, Andy? Galveston. All right. So at Andy in Texas, I'm coming to you from Jacksonville, Florida, and all points in between via the internet. So what I'm going to be doing here, it's good to know. I like to know where people are coming from because what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be showing a 5-step process how to search for properties in your area. And when I know what cities people are coming from, it makes it easier to do the search. Hey, there's Juan Delgado from Illinois. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you here. And okay, Andy's closer to Louisiana. I went to New Orleans, drove through there. And okay, we got Juan in Illinois. Juan, are you near Chicago? Are you near Chicago, Illinois? Or as they say it in Miami, Chicago. Okay. Well, what I'm going to do, okay, now I'm going to talk because I've got Andy and Juan are in here early. Andy and Juan, I know Andy, you just recently joined. Juan, I'm not sure if you're a part of the family yet. Are you both rent? Are you rent? Give me a 1 if you're renting, a 2 if you already own a property. 1 if you're renting, or 2 if you already own the property. Just drop that in the chat because the way I want to do the conversation, this works for both people renting and people who already own a property. Okay, Juan's about an hour away from Chicago. Juan, are you renting or own? Give me a 1 if you rent, 2 if you already own a property, because this is a great strategy for people who already own properties to acquire more. And for those of you trying to get that first one, this is the game plan. I'm laying it out for you. Okay, so both, okay, Andy's renting. All right, here's why I asked the question. I'm big on getting people out of renting to stop renting buy houses. Here's why. Obviously, financial benefit is a big reason, but I look at it from a health reason. When you are renting a property, you have a timeline, a deadline when you may have to move out of your home because one of several things always happens at the end of a lease. If the landlord wants to raise the rent and you can't or don't want to pay it, you're gone. If the landlord wants to sell the house and you can't or don't want to buy it, you're gone. If the landlord wants to move back into the house at the end of the lease, you're gone. So, from a health standpoint, that wrecks with your energy. That works with your health, your mental well being, because what happens when you are faced with having to move at the end of your lease? You're going to you're going to have to start making applications to find a place to live. You're going to be paying for those applications. You're going to need a first, last, and security to move into wherever you do find. You need money to make the move. You need money to hire help to help you move. You have to take time off from work to do the move. Incredibly stressful on the human body or on anybody. The Discovery Channel did a study. Zoo animals that relocate from zoo to zoo the most often die the soonest because it's a stress on your nervous system. So I'm big on you should stop renting and own a house, if nothing else, just for peace of mind and for your health. Hmm. Hmm. Let me see here. Mandami. Okay. Hey. All right. Isabel, good to see you. Great. Isabel is with us. Cool. Oh, okay. Juan owns a property. All right. And Juan, you already own a property. Good for you. Now I'm going to show you how you can acquire more properties without having to go through a credit check, without having to come up with a big down payment, without having to qualify for another mortgage. So stay with me. I'm going to cover all that. Now, here's my next question. Question that I have for you. If you are renting, this is more towards Andy. I don't. Isabella habla inglese. I don't know. I just saw the comment there. Soy nueva. That means you're new. I knew that much. You're new. So if you're already renting a property right now, Andy, how much are you paying for rent? That's my question. How much is your monthly rent payment? And the reason I'm asking the question, I want to show that you can afford to buy a house. How much are you paying for rent? Anybody here, if you're a renter right now watching this, how much are you paying a month for rent? You stroke a check every 30 days for keep a roof over your head. What do you pay? Some people pay 1,200, some 1,700, 2,500. If you're paying that much, there's two positives with that. You're demonstrating you're making money and that you can afford a monthly payment to keep a roof over your head. What I'm going to show you is how you can transfer making that a rental payment into a mortgage payment, and you can have the security of controlling the roof over your head. You'll only move when you want to move. And that's what we're going to go through here. So if that's what you're paying, we're going to look for properties. We can simply take over a mortgage payment at or below what you're paying for rent. Now, what I'm going to do during the live, I'm going to go through a 5-step process where you identify the right opportunities. The type of offer I'm talking about, you can make this to any property that's up for sale. You can do it to anyone. What I'm doing is I'm narrowing it down to the highest possible success rate by finding ones that advertise. Oh, Andy, 750. Okay, you got a good deal. That's not bad shape at all. Yep, East Texas. I guess it's not too expensive there, but we'll find a mortgage payment at or below that. So what we're going to do during the live, I'm going to go through the process of how to identify a good opportunity. And here's why this is important. To just share a quick story about, the wonder of me. Years ago, I went into a business called the International Jewelry Exchange down in Boca Raton. And when you walk in there, ladies love this place. So when you go in there, it's just row after row of diamonds, nothing but diamonds. And I went in there, and there's a lot of different jewelers with their cubicles and their display cases. And I walked up to one, and I'm looking, and the jeweler says, "Well, can I help you find something?" And I said, "I'm looking for a good deal." And he kind of smiled, and took a step back, folded his arms, and he said, "Would you know a good deal if you saw it?" I had to be honest. No, no, not at all. I would have no idea. So I always remembered that. So always prepare yourself to recognize a good deal. That is, I want to preface that because that's what I'm going to be doing here with you. Is I'm going to show you how to identify a good deal, and the way we're going to do it is I'm also going to show you that we have different filters that we're going to use to identify those. But before I go any further, just to be clear, I am not a certified public accountant. I'm not an attorney. I'm just showing you how I do things. I'm sharing my personal experiences that have been successful using these strategies. It's not financial advice, but if you run this play, you can be successful with it too. So I want to be very clear about that. So now I've been going on and on here, kind of rambling a little bit. So let me ask you, you guys okay if I share my screen with you? If I kind of get this party started? All right, Andy, Isabella, Juan. Okay, just give me a quick one. You ready for me to get into it? Tired of looking at me? I completely understand that one. So we'll get going into it. So let's do this. What we're going to do is we're going to use a very popular site that you probably have all heard of. And let me do this. I'm going to share my screen right up here. How many of you have heard of this site right here? Can you see that? Begins with the letter Z. Look at that. This is what we're going to be going on to, because this has the information that we need to find what we're looking for. So when you're on this, step one, we're having fun. We go to this particular location. We click on buy because we're looking to buy. And you get a address block. So in here, like for example, with Juan, you're in outside Chicago. Andy, you're in East Texas. So I don't know how far. Well, like in Texas, we could put in Houston. Could put you in Houston, Texas, big area. So we put in Houston, Texas, and we click search. That gives us 14,000 results. Well, the offer I'm talking about, where you can buy a property by simply taking over the payment, you can make that to all 14,000 properties. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you some filters, people that may or may not be aware of, that can zero down to the ones most likely to accept that. So let's do that. All right. Hey there, Tamita. Tamita Yamosa. Moses. Boy, I butchered that one, didn't I? All right. So here we go. Glad to have you here. We're searching Houston, Texas. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to make use of the filters. If you look over here to the top where you have more, there's a filter here called more. Click on that filter more. What happens is it drops down and it gives you other options. Now here we're looking for a house, so we want to keep that. Townhomes I take out. The reason I take out the townhomes is that, again, like I said, if you choose not to move into the property, it's going to be a lot easier for you to rent or sell a property that's a single family home. So I take that out. Multifamily is really good. You know why? Because you could live in one unit and rent out the others. And even if you chose not to move into a multifamily unit yourself, that is a wonderful way to generate a monthly income. So I always want to keep that door open for a multifamily. Condos, condos, I have a negative thing with. Now, you might think it's funny, 'cause I'm down here in Florida. I have lived in condos. I have purchased and resold condos. Here's the negative with that. Condos have something called, well, they have a condo board. Imagine if anybody was in the military. Hey there, Vince. Thanks for being here. Um, if you ever guys were in the military, it's somewhat like living in the barracks because there's a lot of rules because you're basically a roommate in one big house, even though you have your own condo. So what happens is with condos, they have something called monthly condo association fees. There's no control over what those fees are and how quickly and how often they can be raised. Let me share a story with you. I have very dear friends bought a condo on the beach down in South Florida, down in Pompano Beach. When they moved in 10 years ago, their monthly condo association maintenance fee was $450 a month. Some of you, like Andy, if you're only paying $750 a month for rent right now, $450 just for maintenance might seem kind of steep. But guess what? Through the years and with all the necessary repairs to the building, that monthly association fee has now gone up to $1,475 per month just for maintenance. Now, they bought the condo cash years ago for a couple hundred thousand. It's now worth about 750. So they've enjoyed appreciation, but that was over 10 years. When you're looking to buy a property that you can live in, you're shopping payment right now because you're used to paying a rental payment. Well, when you take over a mortgage payment, you're looking at, well, what's my outflow every month? So condos can be very expensive, especially when you're starting out. So I take those out as an option. Lots and land. Again, we're looking for a place that we can move into. You're not going to pitch a tent on a piece of dirt, so we take those out, and we take out apartments. Those are removed. I leave manufactured homes. Now, Andy, in Texas, this might be quite common. You may run into manufactured homes that are on their own pieces of land. Those are good scenarios. The ones that are not good investments are when you have a manufactured home that is part of a manufactured home community. Because in that scenario, you're renting a lot, you're paying a lot fee to keep your mobile home parked on that slab. Well, manufactured homes don't get titles unless they have their own land that goes with it. So, but if you get it with land, it can be a very good opportunity. I've bought several of those in the last year. It works out very, very well. Now, now to this point here, what I'm doing here is I'm going to go through and show you that those three are the options. We want to continue to march. Continue to march. We're going down here through what type of listings do we want to look at? Well, owner posted, obviously, we want to talk to an owner. Agent listing, which are going to be the majority, we leave those. We take out new construction. The reason we take out the new construction is that if you find one that you like, the builders are going to want you to get your own mortgage. So that's not what we're looking for this afternoon. We take that out. Then you have foreclosures. Well, foreclosures mean that it already went back to the bank. They're not going to sell it for a payment unless you're getting a whole new mortgage. So we take that out. And then auctions, you can get a great deal on auctions, but you got to pay all cash. The prices are great, but excuse me, you need all cash to buy it. So we take the auctions out. Now, like I said earlier, the best filter on this, it doesn't pop out at you right away. You got to know where it is. You need to go looking for it. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go looking for it, and you step here. I call it diving. So you hit that scroll bar and you start scrolling and diving all the way down to the bottom, all the way down to the bottom of the pool, and you find a filter that it's called keywords. Okay, keywords. Now, what we're doing is we're looking for properties that we can buy simply by taking over the existing mortgage payment. So, what word do you think would be good? Because that word is going to screen this 7,480 results for us instead of us going through it one by one. What would be a good guess if you wanted to take over a payment? If we were going to put in a word, oh, just gave you a hint there, it popped up there. Yes, the word to use is assumable. The word assumable means to take over. Well, that's what we're looking to do. We want to take over an existing mortgage payment. So, out of these 7,000 properties we found in the Houston area, we want to narrow it down to the ones where the sellers are doing this. Hey, look at me, my property, you can take over the payment. So that's what we're looking for. So let's hit apply and watch how many we weed out of these 7,480. So go ahead, hit apply. Bam, down to 17. Those are 17 prime prospects. So I gave you the analogy walking into the jewelry store and looking for a good deal. Right now, these 17 have indicated out of all the other ones, high probability you got a good deal in here. But let's take a closer look. Once you have these properties here, you're going to click on one of them to read the description. And you're looking for where and how they use the word assumable. So this one's in Ember Spring Drive. Let's scroll down. And what do we have here? Read the language function, modern lighting, show more. Let's open this up. Do. Oh, there we go. Look at that. I don't know if you can see it there. I'll kind of blow it up a little bit. If you can see it right there at the bottom, right here. Assumable, right there. Assumable 3.56 interest rate, FHA. Wow, 3.5%. Folks, if I was sitting here with you, I said, "Hey, let's go grab a cup of coffee and pop in our local bank and see if we can get a new mortgage." What do you think the interest rate is right now for a new mortgage? If you were to guess. Andy, Vince, just drop in the chat. What do you think the current interest rate would be if we were to show up at a bank this afternoon and wanted to apply for a mortgage? What do you think it would be? Just go ahead, give me a number. Just drop it in there. Well, I just looked it up online, and the Federal Reserve is saying that the current interest rate's at 6.45%. Why would you get a mortgage at 6.45 when you can take over this one that's 3.5? That's almost half. That makes more sense to take over this one than to go get a new one. Because if you go for the new one, you have to have good credit. 13, Andy, that's hard money. That's hard money, Andy. 13.6. Vince, 8%. No, it's not that high right now. You're getting a hard money range, but right now it's 6.45% according to the Fed when I looked it up online earlier today. So, but good guesses. 13.6, yeah, you can borrow money at 13.6. In real estate, that's called hard money, meaning that we'll make you the loan, but we're going to charge a high interest rate. So another reason why to seek out these properties where you can find assumable mortgages at these much lower interest rates. Because if you take a closer look, how much is this property for sale for? 349. 349 at a 3.5% interest rate. That mortgage payment is probably right around $950 a month, give or take a couple $100, right around 950. You could own a house like this and just step in and take the payment. And, oh, this is good. Look, it looks vacant. Look at the pictures. It's vacant. You don't think there's motivation there? You don't think that seller is open to an offer? So, Andy, you're in Texas. So I would call this person. I would call, who is this, agent listed or owner listed? It's agent listed by Jace Bolin. I'd call Jace, and this is what I would say. Hey, Jace, I'm looking at this property for sale on Ember Spring Drive. You said it has an assumable 3.5% interest rate. What can you tell me about that? Let them talk. Real estate agents love to talk, and let them tell you what the deal is. How long has it been vacant? How motivated is the seller? Can we work out a deal where I buy it, I'll pay your price, just let me take over the payment? You just got to start the conversation. But you can see this particular one is qualified. That one's a very good, highly likely. I call them suspects at this point, but you can have a great possibility of taking that one over. Look, on the market for almost 4 months. There's got to be motivation there, and because when you're talking about, hey, it looks great in the pictures. 4 months on the market. Oh, what's the story on the property? Let them tell you, and when they tell you, then you know what you're working with. Um, I'm checking notes here because I want to get through a lot of really key pieces of information for you here this afternoon. Um, The one thing to when people look at this the first time, those of you that are looking at this for the first time, the I get a lot of skepticism, and I always encourage that because if you're seeing this for the first time, it's hard to believe, hey, this is really true. This can really happen. But what I want to show you is that this is a very common way to buy property. Let me. I'm gonna do a little. Find you something I want to show you. So I'm going to take that away. Stay with me here. I'm going to show you this. I want to pull up a document. Okay, who is the buyer? Okay, Juan, you already bought a property. Hey there, Enos. Okay, Juan bought a property in the past. Whenever you buy a property, you're going to be presented with what's called a settlement statement. It looks like this. It looks like a balance sheet. On one side are all the expenses and monies incurred by the buyer, and on the other one is for the seller. Title companies use this type of form. I don't know if it's really small print, but it's put out by up here. Here's the logo, and you can Google this later. But Department of Housing and Urban Development. It's called a HUD 1. That's what we real estate people call it. But I want you to take a closer look. When you buy a property, see, a lot of you think, especially if you've never bought a property, you have to get a mortgage at the bank. You have to qualify. And what I'm going to show you right now on the federal closing statement, that's not true. Hold on, take a look at this. Take a look. This is the first page. If you scroll down through, I'm going to blow it up as best I can, and hopefully you can see it on column. Look at this. Yeah, you can see it. Here we go. You can buy the house with a principal amount of a new loan. That's one of the options. Or look at this one, line 203. Existing loans taken subject to. Folks, that's how common this is. It's a pre-printed option on the closing statement. So this is what we're looking for, getting an existing loan and take it subject to the existing mortgage. That's it. All right. So Anus Calendari, great. Glad you're here. I've got Happy Boy. Thanks for being part of this. So don't let anybody ever tell you that you can't do this because you'd have to ask the obvious question. Well, gee, I'm looking at a closing statement. It's a pre-printed option. What do you mean you can't do it? Well, this is a process. Assumable mortgages and subject to transactions are widely used strategies across the country. That's what it comes down to. It's a widely used strategy. And I made use of this a long time ago. I first learned about this back at the turn of the century. And the way I found out about it, I don't know if is anybody here under the age of this will ring true with anybody under the age of 30. Anybody on here under the age of 30 right now? Just give me a one if you're under 30 years old. And I'm way past that. So what happened the way I found out about it is this. I'm driving in my car and on terrestrial radio, that's AM radio. Oh, okay, Juan. All right. Um, I was on terrestrial radio and there's an ad comes on. It says, "Hey, would you like to buy a property? Would you people like to buy a property with no money or little money down?" I said, "Yeah, buddy, that's me." Because at that time, I was working a job. I was working a job, getting a paycheck, paid my bills, paid my rent, supported myself, but I wasn't getting ahead. Because we all know this now, prices of everything keeps going up, gas and food and whatever you have to pay for electricity. I knew I had to find a way if I was ever going to build a stable financial future. I said, I got to be able to at least control the roof over my head and stop renting. So when I heard this ad, I was pumped up. So I went to the seminar. I spent a whole weekend in a hotel, in a conference room. And at the end Sunday night, I walked out with a binder about that thick with nothing but papers because we didn't have the internet back then. It was just documents after documents. And what I left with was how to do it. But I'm like, oh God, how do I connect all the dots? So, as fate would have it, the next morning, and you know what the definition of luck? I got lucky. The definition of luck is the crossroads of opportunity and preparation. Well, I just spent a weekend getting prepared. Opportunity rang Monday morning. A real estate friend of mine calls me up, says, "Hey, Leo, uh, my friend Joe, his girlfriend left him over the weekend, moved out of the house. He's stressed out because he can't afford to pay the mortgage. Wants to know if would you like to buy it?" I said, "Yeah, buddy." That's right. And I didn't have good credit, Andy, at that point. I didn't have good credit. So I run up because I'm just excited. When you're young and excited about life, you just You jump right in. So I run over there. I get there. And yes, she did clean him out. The only thing in the house was a mattress on the floor and his motorcycle in the living room. That's what it was, and the sweet aromatic smell of marijuana throughout the house. Well, Joe was unemployed and had been for quite some time and wasn't real motivated about looking for a job. His girlfriend, who was a nurse, was supporting him and paying for everything, and she just had enough. She said, "You know what? I just don't have. I don't think it's a long-term bet." So she left. So I'm in there. I'm excited. I got my binder full of papers, and I said to him the first thing I could think of. I said, "What do you want?" Well, he said, "Well, I can't afford the mortgage payment. It's $1,100 a month. I don't have the money, and I need a couple $1,000 to go get set up somewhere else." I said, "Look, I don't have $2,000 on me." This is why I said, just ask them what they want, the seller. I said, "I can make that mortgage payment by the end of the month because I could scrape up $1,100. But 2,000, I said, I don't have 2,000 to give you." I said, "But if you get out of the house and get rid of the marijuana and the motorcycle and the mattress, I'll get the place cleaned up and I'll turn it over and I'll give you 2,000." He said, "Yeah, that'll work. That'll solve my problem." I said, "Would you have a place you can go?" He goes, "Yeah, I'll go crash on my buddy's place and slept on the couch for a few weeks." So here's what we did. Since we had an agreement verbally, there was no place to sit. I said, "Well, let's go get a cup of coffee." We go down the street to Dunkin' Donuts. We go in there. I got my binder full of papers and I'm whipping through it. And I find the one, fill it out, buy the property subject to the existing mortgage. So I fill it out, I buy him a coffee and he signs it. Folks, that was it. That was my down payment. I bought him a cup of coffee. I had control of the property. He moved out. I was young and excited about life. I cleaned it up, turned around and sold it. About 45 days later, made some money, paid him his two. He was thrilled, absolutely thrilled. And I was thrilled because I was working a paycheck job where my take home pay was $525 a week at that time. And I knew that even though I didn't live in that house, I had found a way to improve my financial situation. I had the play now. I had the right approach, the right game plan, if you will. Folks, any of you watching this right now that played team sports in high school or college? Any of you ever played team sports? Hell, even when you were a kid, when you played team sports, didn't you had a playbook? If it was soccer, softball, basketball, football, there was a playbook. You did certain plays in certain situations. Well, I was shown now how to do it. I knew now I could buy a property, like you can see here, by buying the property with the existing loan taken subject to. That had me excited. I was thrilled because I knew I'd found a way that was going to improve my life. That's how I connected the dots. But hey, I've been rambling. Let me turn it back over to you folks. Give me some questions. I mean, you can tell I like to talk. Believe it or not, when I was a younger guy, I worked in radio. I was partly sunny and 75 degrees in downtown Philadelphia. So I'm used to talking and talking and talking, but I want to be courteous to all of you. Share with me your questions. What questions do you have? Because that's what I'm here to do is make life a little bit easier for you. And go through this for you. Um, what do you say? Okay, all right. A common question I get is the process. Can you do it in any city? Well, assumable mortgages and subject to transactions are widely used strategy across the country. We have done these types of transactions all over. And you can tell when you go searching for a property, if they're advertising if the description of the property says to you, assumable mortgage, well, then it would certainly reason to believe, yes, you can do it in that location, in that state. So let's do another one. Let's do another one. Oh, by the way, if you're finding this helpful, feel free to share it with anybody else that you think that might needs it. It's the best way to spread this type of information. Just let people know it's available. So if you find it helpful, please do that. Okay. Now, so how are we doing here? Okay. Like I said, we look for properties in all parts of the country. So we just did Houston, Texas, and our guy Juan Delgado is up outside Chicago, or as my friend from Colombia says in Miami, Chicago. Let's look in Chicago. So again, step one, you go to this location. All right, we're here. The next step that we do, we want to buy. So we click on buy. And clicking on buy, that's going to give you a search bar. So in this case, do one in Michigan. Michigan Novi. I don't know what Novi means. Michigan Novi. Okay, Vince, we can try that. We're doing Chicago right now. I'll do Michigan less. Chicago. Give me a city in Michigan too, though. I got that. Michigan's a big state. Okay, there's Chicago, Illinois. Click on that. Now, 4,634 results. Let's start using the filters. Come over here, hit more. This is the important filter here. More. This gives you the options. We're looking for houses. We take out townhomes. We leave multifamily. We take out condos. We take out lots and land. And we take out apartments. We leave manufactured because if we get land with that, that can be a very good deal right there. So I'm getting a question from Andy. What are the easiest ways for first-time home buyers with bad credit and not so ideal financial status to get into their first home, whether it be to live in or flip? Andy, that's what I'm doing here. I'm showing you exactly what to do. We're looking for properties that are advertising the fact they have a mortgage that is assumable. Assumable means to take over. You don't need to go and qualify to take over a payment. The offer that we're going to be making is the seller wants to sell the property. They will transfer the deed, which is the ownership. The mortgage payment will become your responsibility. However, the mortgage will remain in the name of the seller. So you, as the new property owner, do not need to have a great credit. You do not need a big down payment, nor do you need to qualify for your own mortgage. As I showed you on the settlement statement, I'll flip back to it here real quick. You are buying the property right here. Existing loan taken, subject to. So common, Andy, it's a pre-printed option on the closing statement. It's right below the one that says principal amount of a new loan. You don't need a new loan if you're buying it subject to the existing loan. So I just want to be clear on that. So no credit check required in this process. Yes, Andy, that's correct. In this particular, and I'm glad you clarified that. In this process, buying a property by taking over the existing loan, this no credit checks required on this particular way. Okay, so we're clear on that. Now we're using the filters. So, oh, hold on, I lost my filters. Back here, going to more. Houses, multifamily, manufactured. Continue to scroll down to all the way to the bottom. The best filter is all the way at the bottom. If you don't know it, you'll never find it. Keywords. In here, we put the word assumable because that means the seller is advertising the fact they have a loan that can be assumed. Okay, Andy, thank you. Well, it was an old man that gave it out to me 20-some years ago, and now I'm the old man giving it to you. Good. So here we go. What we got to put in here is the word assumable, and then we're going to hit apply. That's going to narrow this search down to 23 results. You see that, Juan Delgado? 23 results in Chicago. Let's check it out. So you want to go and you want to read the description. All right. See what type of assumable they're talking about. Let's click on one. Okay, where's this? St. Louis Avenue. Come down here. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at this. Look at this. 2.75. I'm going to blow it up. 2.75% FHA loan subject to lender approval. Assumable right there. There you go. They are saying that they have a great mortgage interest rate and they're willing to sell it subject to that. They're asking $399. They're at 56 days. Got to be some motivation building up. Always take a look at the pictures. See if it's occupied or vacant. Vacant means that they're more likely. Oh, it looks vacant to me. More motivation. That's great. So Juan, I would call this right here. Luvacia Gomez, I'd call her up. Say, hey, Looking at this property you have listed for sale. You got a assumable mortgage at 2.75%. What's the deal? Fill me in. Let them talk. Because believe me, when you're starting this out, you just need to listen. Ask them, what do you want? I see this. What does that mean? Let them talk. Agents, especially, will love to talk about whatever property they're trying to sell. And oftentimes, they just volunteer information for you that help you make the decision. It's actually a good technique to get comfortable with this type of conversation. I can remember years ago, there was a class that came out. Some people have social anxiety, they're just terrified to talk to other human beings. So, one of the exercises that was given to kind of break out of that is to talk to people whose job it is to talk and be nice. Namely, go into a restaurant. Servers and bartenders, they're paid to be nice to you because that's how they make their living. If you go into a store, not all stores, but some stores, you might have very helpful customer service. Because they're paid to be nice to you. So when you're learning this conversation and kind of leaning into talking about buying a property subject to the existing mortgage, how much are they looking to walk away with? Do they have any equity? What's their time frame? Now, I'll connect the dots for you here later in this stream, but it's an easier way to lean into it. So I always encourage people to start by calling ones that are listed with an agent and see what it's about because they're motivated. They will come back to you and chase you because if they have no other offers going on, that's what's important. So now, when that happens, you identify the property, you're making the offer to them, and then find out how motivated they are. Why is a property that's sitting vacant for 2 months with an assumable mortgage? What's going on? Why hasn't somebody made an offer? My guess right now, not knowing, is that 399 may be a very ambitious asking price. Yes, they got some great terms here, but you have to be realistic. I'll pay full price on a property if I can buy it and just simply take over the mortgage payment because the terms are extremely attractive. But yeah, look at this. They're asking 399. Looks like it's more worth closer to 386. So they have 398. Yeah, maybe the seller's just he wants his price. Look, he bought it for 270 5 years ago. Anything over 350 is making money, so that's certainly negotiable. But that's my point. We've identified a very good possibility of a property we can buy by taking over the payment, and we're looking at other factors that apply to the property. So that being said, let's do another one. I had a request for Novi is I've never even heard of Novi. Where's Novi? Is that near Detroit? No, Novi is sounds very rural. So let's do this. I don't know Michigan, but let's go back. We'll do Michigan now. Let's take a look. Is that in the Detroit area near Detroit? Is it near Detroit? Let's try it. Let's put in Detroit, Michigan. As you can see, folks, you can search anywhere in the United States. So we're doing Detroit, Michigan. What comes up? Oh, look at that. 26. We still have our filters in place. Looking to take over a mortgage. Let's read the description. We click on that. Comes open, vacant. Oh, look at this. It's vacant, ready to lease. Both units. Oh, it's a duplex. Oh, see, multifamily. Okay, both units project 1,100 a month. Okay. Let me see. Cabinets. I'm looking for the assumable part. Two family owner occupants. Now, see, here's one. If you were in the Michigan area, you can live in one site, rent out the other. I've known. I didn't do it myself when I was younger, but I knew a couple of guys that did that. They would buy a duplex, live in one, and rent out the other. And very quickly, building the equity because the other side's paying for the mortgage payment. It works out very well. But if you don't want to do it, just take it and you can rent out both sides for the cash flow. But that is a very good one. Yeah, love those duplex, especially when, look at that. That's in good shape too. Look at the pictures on this one. Wow. That's a duplex, 1,100 a month each side. That's 2,200 times 12, 22,000, about 24,400 a year. Hey, that just about makes sense there. That one looks really attractive. And if the payment is low, which it should be, that's a good situation. Strong addition. Yeah. Yeah, this is great for an investor. If you already own a property too, this is a great one to add to your portfolio. That's a good one. So let's go back. Let's take a look at another one. These are ones that are advertising they have an assumable mortgage. Oh, some of these prices are really low. Look at this, 49, 169. Let's click on this little one. Let's see what the deal is on this. 3-bedroom, 2-bath. All right, investor opportunity. Properties being sold as is. Oh my, let me see. Great potential. You know what? I'm not seeing assumable on that. Let's go back to the search. Go into our filters. Scroll down. Yep, we still have assumable. We hit apply. And let's take a look at another one. This is just great. Oh, see, this one said auction. That one said auction. I bet you had assumable in here too, as is. Yeah, yeah, foreclosure auction. Yep. So this one here, I don't know why that one popped up unless we didn't take out the auction filter. Let's check your filters. Again, you can just, it's lather, rinse, repeat. Lather, rinse, repeat. Yep, I didn't take out auction. Let's take that out. Take out foreclosure. Take out new construction. And let's see what we have. Let's see what we have here. All right, now we're down to 11. Now we're down to 11. Click on this one. Brill Street. Okay. Oh, wow. Look at this. 6 months on the market, 198 days. Wow. That's a long time. Sorry, no land warranty. Buyer to assume city. Oh, assuming city required inspection certifications. So there's more to a story on this one. If it's on the market for 6 months, I would call just out of curiosity. See if the problem can be solved. Because when sellers agree to these types of offers, they have a problem or a situation they need to solve. That's what you're taking advantage of. You are moving ahead and looking for a way that you can solve their problem and actually acquire property. All right, and I've been going on. Give me some questions. I talk and I talk and I talk, but by all means, anybody got give me specific questions. Yes, Andy, I'm glad that you love the information. Do you have any specific questions? Go ahead, hit me with it. I'm happy to answer the questions because that's how you get more comfortable doing any type of process. You want to know, what am I going to be faced with, or what are other situations, and that's what we do. But well, let me ask you a question for those of you that are on here. So we did Houston, we did Michigan, we did Chicago. Any other cities y'all would like me to take a look at? Just go ahead and throw that in there. And again, what we're doing, we're looking for assumable mortgages. Okay. The ones that advertise assumable mortgages, because assumable mortgages and subject to transactions are a widely used strategy throughout the country. That's what I'm sharing with you here. This isn't something I created. This is something that's been around for a long time. I'm just simply pointing you, hey, look, you can do that. And by knowing how to connect the dots and put it all together, you can acquire property simply by taking the payment. I'll share you another story. This happened to us just a few weeks ago. We bought a property. It was up in Montana. It was vacant. Seller had it on the market for about 7 months. Like I said, look for how many days on market. Saw it was on the market for 7 months. The owners had moved to Arizona, and the house was in Montana. So they were paying a mortgage payment on a house in Montana that was vacant, that they were keeping the utilities on. So because hey, it's up there, it gets cold, you don't want everything to freeze up. So they were frustrated. They just wanted to get rid of it. So we said, look, we'll buy it, even though we're in Florida, but we we'll take over the mortgage payment because our plan was, since we weren't going to move there, we would turn around and resell it, or rent it out, after we got ownership of the property. So what happened was we said, okay, they agreed to that. But the other problem, this is the bigger problem why they couldn't sell it. They were asking 100, no, I'm sorry. They were asking, no, they owed 158,000 on the property. Problem was market value based on comparable sales right now or then was 120. So they were upside down by $38,000. So he said, okay, we'll take over the payment, but you got to pay us to take the payment because you make your money when you buy the property. If we're going to buy a property, even with those great terms, we can't overpay by 20%. That's just outrageous. So they agreed to pay us a fee and we took it over. Then what we did, we turned around and we sold that agreement to somebody in Montana that took possession of it. So that's how you make money by not necessarily moving into the property, simply turning it over. That's called assigning the contract. So whenever you have a written contract between you and a seller, that becomes a tangible instrument that you can sell. So we did that. Okay, I got a question came here from Andy. I asked what I needed to know I was looking for cities like Lufkin and Nacogdoches, Texas, but not seeing anything. Okay, Andy, when you're looking, this is for all of you, if you're not finding anything when you do that filter, assumable, you want to use other filters that indicate the seller is motivated. The seller wants to sell. They're looking to make a deal. That's all this is right now. I'm showing you how to identify the motivated sellers, the needles in a haystack, if you will, among the thousands of properties. So this one was Detroit. Let's go back. I'll go back to Texas. I'll go back to Texas. All right. So let's go in here. What'd you say? Nacogdoches? Lufkin. I've never even heard of Lufkin. That's really small. But let's do some different. Let's do some different filters. Lufkin, Texas. We have that. Come over to your filters. All right. We want to come down. Another way to find a motivated seller is assumable. Like I said, this offer I'm describing, you can make this on every single property available for sale. I'm just trying to identify the sellers that are the most motivated or more open to doing this type of transaction. So let's go with the obvious. Motivated. Put motivated, hit apply. See what pops up. Do we get anything? Nope, motivated didn't work. Let's do another one. Come down here and let's go with, and don't worry, I got seller finance. See if the seller's offering to finance the property. Hit apply. Oh, there you go. There you go. Even this rural area of Lufkin, we found two motivated sellers. Look, this one here, 2 bedroom, 1 bath, the 3 bedroom, 2 bath. What's the deal? They said, oh, for sale, on the market for a month now. That's good. They're still looking for someone to buy. Read that description. Okay, don't miss a chance. Secure a property with both investment and homeowner appeal. And as we go across here, probably make it your own. Seller willing to finance. Look at that right there. I'll blow it up. Seller willing to finance. You know what that means, Andy? That means you don't have to go to the bank. The seller says, I'll be the bank. The seller says, you know what? Instead of paying the bank interest, pay me the interest. That's a good one. This is a good one, Andy. Yep. You want to call this? It's listed by, Dr. Latoya Hernandez. Okay. All right. Look out when you're talking to a woman that goes by doctor. She's gonna be challenging sometimes. So go ahead, give her a call, and you're going to say, "Hey, look, I see that you got seller financing. What's that about?" And let them talk. That's it. Just let them talk. That's a good one. There you go. There's a good one. All right, Rosie Castillo. Hey, Rosie, glad to see you're here. You like San Antonio, Texas? Okay. Hey, don't worry. I'm going to tie this all together, and I'm going to show you how to go from identifying the property, phone call, script, contract, wrap it up. I'm doing that. Stay with me. I'll do Rosie, and then I'll get into that. So real quick, like I said, you can do it any city in the U.S. of A. Let's put in San Antonio. Now the filter that we have in here right now is seller finance. That comes up. There you go. Bam, what do we, 160. Oh my God. Rosie, you can spend the next week. Look at this. 166 properties where the seller is willing to finance. Look at this. Open it up, confirm the description. You go in here. Okay, strong investment with significant potential. See, property is part of an investment portfolio. Okay. Owner finance right there. Owner financing available. Look at that. Bam. You know what that means? You don't have to qualify at a bank. The owner will finance it for you because they want to move the property because they're motivated. I could do this all day long, folks, but this is how you do it. You enter in the city and you got to know how to use that keyword filter. You're looking for assumable, you're looking for seller finance, you're looking for motivated. Now, I've been going on and on here. So, does anyone here want to learn more? I could do this search all day long, but would you like anybody here like to learn more? Vince, Andy, Rosie, would you like to learn more on this? Okay. Would you like to have more access to me? And I know that actually one of our participants here, he's already part of the community. Let's see. Okay, yeah, Andy, you're already in. You're already taking advantage. That's good. Andy's jumping on these live streams too. So for those of you that haven't yet, what I'm going to do is it okay if I share some more details on how you can get more involved and get some more of this one-on-one attention? So the way we do that, well, here's what happened. As you can see, I got gray in my beard, lines in my face. Been doing it for a long time. We were talking over coffee one morning, and we were saying, you know what? We need to come up with a way that we can share the information that we have because we can. That's what we've been doing 7 days. We identify properties, we call, we get properties under contract, and then we turn them over. And that's what our business is. But we said, you know what? You get to a point in life where you want to make a dent in the universe. You want to help other people. Okay, hey there, Serge. Good to see you, Serge. Um, you want to be able to make a dent and help other people. So we said, how do we do that? We said, we should come up with, if we could take all of the information we know, put it into one location that people could access, we think that would be a good step. Because again, my big thing is I want people to stop renting and buy houses, if nothing else, just to control the roof over your head so that anytime get out of that lease, renting and having a lease, because when that lease is up, if you don't come to an agreement, guess what? You're packing up and you're moving. Very stressful. So if you just do this to find a house for yourself, I think this is a life skill everybody should have. And that's what we decided to do. We wanted to create a community where we could share this with other people. I'm going to show it to you. What we did is we created a community that we call the Real Money Club. Let me turn this around. You can I'll share my screen here. The Real Money Club. Okay. Well, actually, we call it Real Money Club Creative Owners Club. But this icon, if you click on this icon that's above the top here, you can see it on top. You click on that. What that's going to do is that's going to take you to a link in a bio that you can open up. Whoops, sorry about that. Let me get back over here. It takes you to a link because, again, up here at the top, you see that caricature. You just click on that caricature. And then what they'll do is that will take you to, let me show you. I'll show you. You'll see the screen. And right here, you see this link? That's school.com Real Money Club. That is what you want to click on. And you'll be able to be part of our community. Now, when we put this together, we were chewing on, well, what in the world what do we ask for? I mean, as far as what do you charge for something like that? And we've gone to a lot of seminars. I've been a guest speaker at many events through the years, did a radio talk show on real estate. So, and I've seen a lot of different companies, organizations go through ways that they could sell their information. Nothing wrong with that because it's valuable information. If you apply it, it certainly pays off. So, but I said, look, if we're gearing towards, see, my mission is to get people to stop renting, at least control the roof over their head. So that's what I wanted to focus in on. So I said, you know what? We can't charge an outrageous amount of money. It has to be something that's accessible. Because some of these companies that do training, they'll do what I'm sharing with you, but they charge 20, 30, $40,000 to have access to the information on an ongoing basis. Don't get me wrong, the value is there because you're going after real estate and properties. But if you're looking to break free from the cycle of renting, you don't have $30,000 in your cookie jar. So if you need the information, you need the playbook to make that next step, you need some help. So here's what we thought. We said, you know what? If we're going to be sharing this with other people, let's the way we thought of it is you ever go through a drive-through? If you go through a drive-through and you get like two Happy Meals or two value meals, it's almost $25 for two burger and fry meals. We said, you know what? That's what it'll be. We'll give you access to our community for $25 a month. That's simple. $25 a month. Now let me show you what's in there. As you can see up here, the Real Money Club here, we have a classroom. And this classroom is loaded with training modules. Like for example, here on resources. This is the big one. When you get started, we provide you a 30-day checklist right here. Okay, Andy, you go make some calls. That's good. All right, Rosie. A 30-day checklist. This tells you day by day exactly what to do. Now, you may wonder, why did we put together a 30-day checklist? I'll tell you why. Anybody here ever work in fast food, like a McDonald's or Arby's or anything like that? Anybody work in fast food? I never had, but I can tell you something. If me, Andy, Rosie, and Juan walked into a McDonald's today and we had to keep that thing open and running for about 5 or 6 hours before we got reinforcements, we could do it. You know why? Because every step of the process at McDonald's is a duplicatable system. There's a manual, steps 1 through 7, how to run the French fryer, how to pull the meat out of the freezer, how to prepare the buns, how to put exact amount of ketchup on the bun. It's all laid out because McDonald's, Ray Kroc was the first one to figure out, let's make a duplicatable system that you can hand to somebody and they'll be successful. That's what we've done here. This 30-day checklist, this is our game plan. This is our duplicatable system I'm handing to you. You follow it step by step. Folks, you're going to do business. You're going to find properties. You're going to put transactions together. You can't not do it if you follow the steps because it's a duplicatable system. That's what we've designed here at the Real Money Club. So take a closer look here. That's the 30-day checklist, but also too, for example, doing the numbers. Well, what happens when you find a property? How do you analyze it? Well, we have calculators for you. We show you the purpose of underwriting. We show you the 3 different types of offers that you can make and common mistakes that cost you deals. We're sharing our life experience doing this with you for $25 a month. That's it. So now here's the thing. At $25 a month, if you're with us for a year, 25 times 12, that comes out to $300 for the year. If you're a savvy investor and you can see yourself using this and building a life because it is business in a box, continue to cultivate this, why not take advantage of it and do it one time? A yearly rate's 200. It's like getting 4 months free. Plus, on top of that, what we'll give you is what's called a proof of funds letter. Anybody ever hear of a proof of funds letter? Give me a 1 for yes, 2 for no if you're familiar with the term proof of funds. Okay? Because when you enroll and become part of the family for a year by doing the $200 annual membership, it's like getting 4 months free. We wanted to give you an added value because you've become a premium member. We provide a letter of support from a lender that we've worked with for years. It's a resource to help you start conversations with sellers and real estate agents. It's a tool that gets you in the door. It's not a bank guarantee, but what it does is it opens the door and they will talk to you because what you've done, you've demonstrated you understand the language of buying real estate because you have a proof of funds letter that you can introduce yourself with when you talk to any seller, you talk to any real estate agent. You don't need to lead with it every time, but if they're asked for it, it's a weed eater question. Oh, they do have a proof of funds. Well, then they're serious. Opens the door for you. Okay. Oh, hey, Rosie. Okay. So that's one thing I want to emphasize. Now, let me show you here where you would do that. Is that again the way that you get into the Real Money Club to be part of it? Up here on top, you'll see a caricature right here. You click on that. When you click on that icon, it's going to take you to a page. Hold on, I lost my page. Stay with me. And then what it's going to do is it's going to take you to a page. Here, I'll share it with you. And you're going to see a link in the bio. That's the caricature you click on. And then here, this is the link in the bio. When you click on that link, it's going to take you to the Real Money Club, and you'll see a banner here, enroll for $25. That's simple. That's simple. All you got to do is, again, going back, I'll show you again. Icon caricature right here. That looks like the guy holding the money bag. Click on it. And then when you click on it, it's going to take you to the Real Money Club. And when you're there, hold on. Got to go back. Got to go back. I'm not real fast with my fingers on this. So I'm not real fast on the fingers on it, but I want to show you that when you do that, you are able to enroll in the community. Yep, Real Money Club. There you go. Yep, click on that icon. That's what you click on. And then you're going to be able to enroll. Okay, so any questions so far? Anybody has anything specific they want to ask? It's okay. But again, I just had to look, I'm not an attorney. What I'm sharing with you is my life experience. What I did, I was able to take information that was out there. I was able to put it together, and I was able to acquire properties through the years. And it's not information that I created. This isn't I wasn't sitting in a back room by myself coming up with all this stuff. This stuff has been around for years. I'm just pointing it out to you that if you go to buy a property, yes, you can buy it by taking over the mortgage payment and not having to get your own mortgage. If somebody says we can't do it, say, well, I beg to differ, because like I showed you, I'll bring it up again. When you're on a closing statement, the standard closing statement, it says right there, look at there. Are you buying it with a new loan? Principal amount of new loan? No. Are you buying it existing loan taken subject to? Yes, that's what we're doing. We're taking it over subject to. So this is one way. This is just one way to acquire property. And the thing I want to emphasize is that there are other ways to buy a property. You go into our classroom and we have other, like the contracts and scripts. What do you say when you call a for sale by owner? We have a script for that. What do you say when you call the agent? I have a script for that. Not that you have to follow it verbatim, but it is a guideline to work through that conversation. And when we're talking, we're looking for pillars of motivation. We're looking to find why are they selling? Is it a hardship? Is it urgency? Is it the condition of the property? Is it the equity of the property? We talk about how much equity they have versus what's really there, and the price, of course. But you need to have a game plan to move forward and do this. Now, the other thing I want to emphasize is when you become part of our community, we don't disappear. You can communicate with us all the time through the community. We have that up here at the top, and this is where people send us messages. They send us messages. Here, Leo's live again. And this is how we talk to people. We help them with the properties they're identifying. We help them structure offers. We help walk them through the objections that people get. And again, you can see right up here, I got messages waiting for me right up here. I got work that I got to do as soon as I finish this live stream. So if you can see yourself answering this question, you stopped on this live stream because you saw that. Stop renting, buy houses. If you're looking to own a property, and you don't become part of our community, you're still looking for an answer to this question. How do I stop renting and buy a house? That doesn't go away. That dream of home ownership doesn't go away until you find a way to do it. What I've shown you here for over an hour now is here's a systematic, successful, duplicatable system that you can use step by step to identify properties, have that conversation, prepare an offer, wrap it up, close on it, and take possession all through the Real Money Club because you're not doing it by yourself. You have the information in the playbook now, but you also have us. You have me. You can reach out to me anytime. I can take a call and help you. I'll respond to your messages. If you want to do three-way calls with a potential prospect, I'll talk to them. We're here to help you. This is where the hype ends and the help begins, is the Real Money Club. We put it all together. And also, too, we also we can it's continuous training as well. Aside from you having all the learning modules at your fingertips that you can access 24/7, 365, I want to show you this. We do live Zoom trainings on our calendar. If you look at the live Zoom trainings, we're available. We do these trainings throughout the month. And if you can't make one, don't worry about it. We have a vault where we put all the recordings. Look, right over here, vault. Click on the vault. And here we've recorded all of our training sessions over the last couple of years. You have access to that. You can listen in. Come home from work, you're dead tired. Just put on one of these training sessions and just listen. You'll hear us going through more information. You'll hear us talking with sellers, with agents, dealing with objections, pulling it all together. This is very valuable information. So if you haven't taken advantage of it yet, I encourage you to do it. And believe me, $25 doesn't change our lives one way or the other. I'm doing it because, in my mind, the way to make the world a better place is to improve people's financial situation. Because I don't know about you, but have you noticed? I have as I've gone through life. Money is like oxygen. The more you have, the easier it is to get around. So if you can control the roof over your head, meaning that once you get into a house, you don't have to move unless you want to and go through all that money, anxiety, and stress of moving, that makes you a better person. That makes you more agreeable with the people immediately in your circle. people you work with, people that are close to you and important to you. Because once you have that particular piece done, now you have a systematic plan. You can go acquire more properties and start collecting rents. Now your income is higher. Now you're able to do things for your family, for your kids that you'd like to do, but you can't. You say no to your kids not because you don't want to do it, it's because you don't have the money to do it. Man, kills you. Why not change that? Put yourself in a position where when one of your children asks you for something, you say yes because you want to and you have the money to do it. And you can get one step closer by joining the Real Money Club. So again, what you want to do is look for this caricature right up here above my head. Looks like a guy holding a money bag. Click on that. And when you click on it, it's going to take you to a landing page and you'll see a link, a school. It says SKOOL, a link in the middle. You just click on that link and you become a member of the Real Money Club. $25 a month. You have access to all of this information. You have access to the contracts, the scripts, the training program, our live Zoom trainings, our recorded sessions that you can listen to at your leisure. This is all in one location. So I just go over it again because to me, I know for me, at the turn of the century that I knew I had to find a way out. I knew I was trapped. I mean, I was working a job, was able to pay my bills, but let's face it, the day comes you physically or mentally don't want to work anymore. You want to get to a point where, hey, life should be getting easier. The bills should be going down. But in the last several years here, man, it's expensive living in America, no doubt about it. So why not learn a skill, learn a particular presentation that you can take and use. And you know it's successful because you got a whole bunch of people here behind you that have been doing it for years, took the time to put together this online training system. So all the questions that you may have are in here. And if there's a question you don't see the answer to, you contact to us through the community. Click on the community, send us a message. We'll talk to you. We'll help you. Again, this is where the hype ends and the help begins here at the Real Money Club. So I've been going on and on here for a while. Like I said, last time here, if you want to participate, you got this caricature right up here above my head. Click on that, and that'll take you to the Real Money Club landing page. Right there in the middle, you'll see a link in the bio. It says School, SKOOL. Click that link, and you can become part of the community for just $25 a month. And if you're a savvy investor, go ahead and enroll for the entire year for $200. It's like getting 4 months free. Plus, we will supply you with a proof of funds letter. The proof of funds letter is a letter of support from a lender that we do business with on a regular basis. And you can use it as a door opener when you talk to sellers and you talk to agents. You can say, look, I do have a proof of funds, and you can work with that. So regardless, though, if you have any more questions, you certainly reach out to us through the community, through the live stream here on YouTube. And I want to congratulate you. I want to congratulate all of you for participating on this particular live stream. Now, before I go, though, I'm always happy to answer questions. Give me some questions. Anybody got any last minute questions here that I can answer for you? I'm not distracted. I just had one of our participants is reaching out, which is good. I'm really happy to help people because when people get involved with our community, they're worried that we're going to disappear, and we don't. We're here. I'm here all the time, pretty much, because we love doing it. We love helping. So what we can do from here is one more time the caricature right up here. You have is the guy holding the money bag. Click on that, and you're going to have a link in the bio. And when you hit that link, you're going to be able to enroll in the Real Money Club. All right. So Rosie, Andy, Vince, the folks that were participating, love it. Glad that you were here. Again, Andy, you're already part of the family. Reach out if you have questions, and we will come back to you real soon. And we'll talk to you again. All right.